Just being around the guys today, how are they moving on?
Slowly. We had a function with the American Legion support group in the Kiwanis, and that was nice. And then, in the backdrop behind one of the speakers was the end of the game playing on ESPN. So it's in your face here. Everything that happens here is a life experience, and last night was clearly tough. And they're going to be okay, but shaking off what happened is not easy for any athlete. And on this stage, it's out there for the world to see, and when it goes well, that's exciting and you remember it. And when it doesn't go your way, you clearly have to absorb and handle those wounds. And they were tough and deep last night when you feel like you are on the verge of positioning yourself to do what we came here to do, and now you're backed into a corner a little bit. Can still be done, but the last 20 minutes of that were very difficult.
How do you balance wanting to get back to work versus just giving them all the time to decompress, or how do you handle that?
Well, today we felt the pitchers just needed, each one of the pitchers is in its own compartment of what they need every day. So we let them go out and stretch and do their throwing, to go try to hit in the cage and bang around today with the position guys. We didn't feel like that was in order. We're going to be right back out there early to do the same thing, like hit in the cage and do that. And that's what we chose to do. And they kind of get to do this lunch today with the service groups and then get off their feet a little bit. And if they want to go back to the night game, fine. If they want to hang out and relax, then that's what they have to manage. And managing yourself and what you feel like you need is part of the experience of being an athlete in a situation like this. Some of the guys may want to go to the stadium and take it in. Some may not want to see that stadium again until we start firing bullets tomorrow. So everybody has to manage their time, and this is a learning process, especially for our team, which has nobody really on it that has competed in this. So they'll use their time wisely today. I know they're going to rest and chill out a little bit, but they have to think through what gets them ready to go tomorrow.
They talked about, I think on the broadcast, Jamie, did he have something happen during the celebration in the Super Regional?
Cut his thumb on the trophy. So we were dealing with that all week. It wasn't bad, but anytime you have something going on with your finger, we battled. Whitaker battled it, Abraham battled it, Jamie had battled it, and that's unfortunate that you get through that kind of excitement, and then the whole week you're dealing with this poor guy who's got the little cut on his finger. I don't think it was bad. He did all his normal work, but it's just one of those freak things that you probably could never imagine would happen, but it did. And I don't know that it affected him that much. I thought he settled in and got better, used his changeup more yesterday than he probably has in his last 7 or 8 starts combined, which was good. Kind of kept him off the fastball a little bit. That was a very talented physical team, and I thought he navigated it and pitched fine. The double play he got, the 1-6-3, was a critical moment, and I thought he did enough to clearly keep us in it. It wasn't flawlessly perfect of an outing for him, but it was enough.
With the build-up you guys have been doing with Connor, was 71 pitches pretty much the cap that you could go to with him?
No, we could have kept going. Now, we had a couple lefties that we were at these threshold moments of, do you want him to face this lefty? Okay, do you want him to face the next one? And they staggered it, so we had these little moments where we probably extended him one group further than we thought. But he was clearly pitching well, and again, with the ramp up, I thought, you don't know when enough's enough. Now, you have numbers in your mind of what you think is logical and safe, and we felt maybe in the last 8 to 10 pitches, some of the pitches were up a little bit more, and it didn't look like it quite had the pop. So when we got to the lefty, I believe was in the 8 hole maybe, that's when we thought that was enough. With the pitch count and where we were, and Ox has been really solid for us out of the pen all year. So that was the decision we made there. And walking that guy was not what you need to do. Like, we needed to go get him, and you have the 9-hole guy, and then you have to deal with more when it flips, but you just didn't want to be in a position to get to more where it could really hurt you. And I've pushed with the umpiring groups for the review of a check swing. I would like to be able to challenge that. I told them, this started back in September, I said, every camera in the stadium has a view of that. Now you have some random plays that come up that are not captured. Those are captured. And it's a very, very difficult call. I think in umpiring, it is the hardest of calls to make. Even the guy that's on the open side that has to make that, it's not an easy call. Like, you could argue that specific call, and because of the advancement in technology, I think that's something that should be put in. I think it should be in the big leagues. I think it should be in college. We have the technology. Everything's on home plate, so you're going to get some good looks at it. And now you know why I have fought for that. And it's no different than an out at first base or a tag play. Like, those outs are critical, and that clearly couldn't be more critical.
Is the pushback that people think it wouldn't be discernible? Because
they thought it was a great idea.
So
That's what I got. And I said, well, let's do it. Let's do it. I would 100%. That's a hard call. We have to umpire our own scrimmages. And when you try to make these calls with the kind of bat speed and where guys stand in the box, it's different. So the plate is in different spots based on how far forward and back they are. Those are extremely difficult. We've seen it in critical games at the major league level and in our games. I think it's something that should be a challengeable call. Whether the umpires want to review it themselves to get it right, or whether we want to put it under the umbrella of a coach's challenge, because of the visibility of that part of the field, I think it would be one of the most efficiently reviewed plays.
I know you talked last night about, it was more than just that moment, but how hard is it, for you and to help the team not dwell on that? Because I know guys could say, next pitch, get him out, but I think some people might say he got him out.
It's tough. You remember how the game ended far more than you remember how the game started. There were plays that we needed to make that would have changed the course of Jamie's start, the back end of the game, and we didn't. We didn't handle some of the things that needed to be handled. And as you do that and create opportunities for them and add pitch counts to your starters and put more stress on the defense because you're not completing plays and getting off the field, it adds up. So the end of the game was one piece of the game, but you can go back to moments in the game and at-bats in the game where if it was a little better, maybe this is not a conversation of trying to hang on to a 3-run lead or a 2-run lead or a 1-run lead or a tie game. Like, you may have put this thing away. And when you have a team like that that's so talented and capable and deep, you need to do everything you can to separate and gather outs. And there were times early in the game that we clearly didn't do that. So they have to learn. And these moments here are in your face and more impactful than anything else that can happen to you as a baseball player at this age. There's nothing else that compares to it. So having to relive that and learn from it is the hardest lesson you'll ever deal with in college baseball.
No, you told the guys, once you get off this bus, things are going to be different. Things change a lot around here. But now that they've actually had that experience playing in a game, how useful do you think that will be for them mindset-wise moving into tomorrow with their back against the wall?
Yeah, you cannot talk them into understanding, and I tried, to talk them into what this is going to be like. And now they know. I don't think we were really unsettled in how we played. I don't think some of the mistakes that came up were really a result of, oh my gosh, there's 30,000 people here and it's Omaha. I don't really think that. I thought the response to being down and not feeling like this was going in the right direction and stringing at bats together off of a variety of arms, those guys are pitching for the University of Tennessee for a reason. How they choose to use them, I can't tell you how they choose to use them. They have plenty to choose from, so maybe that's why they do what they do. When we played them in 22, it was different. They had a little bit more established starters, but every team is constructed differently, and our guys responded to a variety of arms to damage a pretty dang good pitching staff. So the response in-game was good, early sloppiness, tough, but I think now they can completely feel what this is all about here. And that was probably one of the most viewed games in the history of college baseball, I would say. And I don't think the sport's ever been played at a higher level with the talent that was on the field yesterday, and watching what was going out there this morning when I got to go watch JT throw batting practice and hit his ground balls. I don't think I've ever seen a more talented display in college baseball, and I've seen it for 30 years.
You've been part of teams that have come out of the losers bracket tournaments. Like, what are the keys to doing that?
Well, you know, shaking off what happened, I think athletes, once you get back into the routine and the pregame, I think they probably can put that behind them a little easier than when you're sitting out there at the team lunch right now and you're just as raw and miserable as you can be because of what happened. So once we get into that, I think you can push it behind a little bit more, but it's the details of the game that don't change, and your success or failure is determined by how you handle the details. Like, is your stuff on the mound, your A stuff in and out of the zone? To be honest, last night there were times we needed to be a little bit more up and out of the zone, and we weren't, and hurt ourselves. So in the zone, sure. Out of the zone to put good hitters away, have to do it. The defensive instinct and savviness and jumps on the ball and thinking and finishing, we didn't do that. You have to do that. The offensive side, less than two-strike hitting, we saw a little bit of that. We didn't have good enough at-bats in some moments where maybe we really blow that thing open. And then the base running has to be on point. That wasn't as clean yesterday as it needed to be. The short game stuff, there was only one time we had that in play, and I think Lodis ended up taking the pitch fine. So if those points are done properly and you check those boxes, you will win because you're talented enough to do it. If you don't, then you'll lose. So unless something so freak happens that it's one of those crazy games where you overcome a malfunction or you play brilliant baseball and happen to not win the game. But most of the time it equates to the result being a reflection of how you take care of those details. Once you get into the routine of the day, I think the guys build back towards taking care of that more than really how they feel right now.